Welcome to the Smorgasbord Podcast, episode 46, where we talk about a variety of different topics, uncensored, unedited, and unfiltered. We are back after another 2 week hiatus. I'm getting really shit with this, but you know what? Yeah, a lot of stuff has been happening. So I had planned to record a week, but then I had to go to the funeral of my uncle-in-law who passed away to suicide. I pretty sure I talked about it last episode, but if I didn't, that's why. Uh, So that was the second suicide. It happened 2 weeks after my friend Noah passed away, which I know I talked about on here. Um, it was a very interesting funeral. First of all, it was like crazy because we had to drive up to Florida from Georgia, which is a 5 hour drive. Spent the night. We went to the funeral the next day. Slept, spent the night, and then left early Friday morning. And yeah, it was a very interesting funeral. It was very nice, but it just seemed like it was just very filled with regret and it very filled with, I wish I did this. I wish I did. Besides his friends, they were like, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. I wish I did this more. Um, which again then goes to show you like why you shouldn't wait. I said it before and I'll say it now. You shouldn't wait to tell people you love them. You shouldn't wait for them to feel accepted because you never know what can happen. Like I said, what annoys me the most is that it takes a tragedy for people to truly appreciate what they have. Excuse me. Truly appreciate what they have and what is truly important other than this all these like minuscule bullshit that divides us. None of it really matters at the end of the day. What matters is that, we all care for each other, we all love each other, and whether you agree or disagree with them, you need those people with opposing views. You need those people with different views to challenge you to think and for you to progress. You know, it gets nowhere if we're just all sitting here holding hands, agreeing with each other about everything. Like, I like what you think, you like what I think, I like what you think. It doesn't lead nowhere. Um, and just people have to start understanding. Adults and kids alike have to understand that there's a bigger picture, and they have to try and see it the best they can. And all that little minute shit is doesn't mean shit. It's the same thing because I just talked to my friend the other night, and she was going down the spiral on her Snapchat story. She was like, "You guys ever feel like your life is like you offer nothing to society and all this?" And she keep in mind she's 15, so she's very smart girl. She was like, "Oh, you feel like your life doesn't have good existence. You mean you bring nothing to society and all that." And I'm like, and so I talked to her and I was like, "How old are you?" She was like 15. I'm just like, okay, in the most respectful way possible. Sometimes you need to chill the fuck out because you're so far ahead and yet still a kid that you think that you're rushing to, that not only are you rushing to grow up, that at the same time you're also thinking in like the childlike mindset of to like be where we're at right now is the end all be all. We're all just still kids and life hasn't really begun for us. You can have experiences ahead of your time and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, as far as being an adult physically as well as mentally, because a lot of people are there mentally but not physically, and a lot of people are there physically but not mentally. When those two happen at the same time, excuse me, when those things happen at the same time, it it really opens your eyes to how minuscule a lot of shit is. And how minuscule she's like, and she just kept going saying like, I don't offer anything to society. And I'm like, oh, don't worry, your taxes will do that for you. They'll rob the shit out of you. They'll rob the shit out of you soon. Don't worry about that. And she's like, I don't bring any happiness to somebody's life. I'm like, well, that's not true. You bring happiness to mine. You bring happiness to a lot of your friends. You said yourself, you've helped a lot of friends out of very dark places. So that in itself is a bold faced lie, um, or it's just untrue. And I don't know. She just kept going down that spiral and being like, I feel like I can do more. I know I can do more, but I just don't. Like I said, you want to do a bunch of shit that's like even 25, 30-year olds, 40-year olds can't do. But all the shit that you can do, excuse me, Jesus, I don't know why I'm freaking yawning so much, Jesus. I think I'm just sleeping like shit lately. The stuff that you can do, just do it. And she said, well, that's the problem. I'm like, no, it's not, because we also talked about how we have a bunch of another friend of ours always makes excuses about why their life isn't the way they want it to be and all that stuff. As well, at the end of the day, try to change it. And if you don't want to try to change it, then you can't sit there and complain to us. And I told her the same thing. Like, and the biggest thing, which is really just the human ego, it's all simple and it's all not that hard until it gets around to you. Everyone thinks that they're a special case, and they're like, "Oh, I'm different," and no one understands, myself included. I'm not the only one. I'm not excluding myself from that statement. And she was like, it's not that simple and all that stuff. I'm like, told the same thing to our friend. His shit is simple. Your shit is simple. All our shit is simple because we're all not as complex as we would like to think we are. Personally, I try to whew, pride myself on simplicity. I personally like to try to pride myself on that. And the reason I try to pride myself on simplicity is for the simple fact that the simpler you are, the longer and the happier you'll be. The happier you'll be, the longer that happiness will last. And and that's really the biggest thing is just to enjoy. Which I told her too. I told her too. I said you're gonna look back on this time and be like, I was worried about being an adult so much and I didn't enjoy being a kid. And while this world is making us grow up a lot quicker than we are, we still fundamentally can still try to be his kid and still try to capture that freedom. And as much as a lot of parents, even to this day, are still like, we want our kids to be kids, and mine included. They forget that based on intellect or whatever the case may be, they still rush them to grow up. So, to all my friends who, if you want to ever have kids, just learn the lessons from your parents, carry them forward, and carry them into your life as well. Yeah. To one who thinks that their life is meaningless and they're like, oh, like at a young age, and I'm like, dog, you'll have the rest of your life to contribute to shit. Just have fun. You can live a long, boring life or a short, exciting one. Personally, I'd rather have fun. Another big reason that I also took 2 weeks to record, just I don't know, lately, this always happens randomly. It's like, but now more than ever, I'm now slowly having the urge to not be around people. I don't know if it's just me because I, I feel like I'm old. Because my grandfather's like, I'm gonna when he gets old enough, after all his grandkids grow up, he's like, I'm gonna sit in the middle of a lake and just chill, because that's what he does. And I don't know, me personally, I'm like, it's not that a lot of things disinterest me, but social media does. Like don't I was never a social media head anyways, but even less, I wanted to uninstall all of them because people don't really text me anyways. And then on top of that, I'm just like, I don't, I don't want to deal with it. But I can't because of business and this. So I just don't go on it as much. I didn't ever really went on it that much. I went on there to clear notifications, keep up with sports, which is what I'm doing now, and focusing more on other shit. Like I'm gonna like this will probably be my biggest interaction with the outside world. Because I've now decided, and I'm gonna try really hard to keep myself to a schedule because I used to hate schedules, but now I'm seeing the busier I get because what's happening this summer is right now as we speak. I'm taking chemistry, the full year of chemistry in the span of 6 weeks. Over the summer, because I want to free it up so I can get an internship. So I can free it up for an internship I'm trying to get in for my during the school year. So that way, instead of 6 classes, I'll have 5 classes, so I can leave by like 2 something, 2:30, and 2 o'clock, 2:30, and then go to my internship and then go home. Um, and so that, and I finished my driving, the online portion of my driving education. So I start driving lessons Monday. Uh, Driving lessons Monday, and then I'll be after that, after I complete my hours, which I think is like 30 hours, and then supervised driving, then 9 hours at night, I believe. Then after that, um, I think I'll be eligible for my license for my to test for my license this Christmas because I have to wait a year and 1 day, and I got my permit December 24th. I want to say 23rd or 24th. And lately I've been working out, trying to get in better shape. Like I said, for me personally, it's never really about cutting down weight. I was thinking about it. I was like, I want to cut down a lot of weight this summer, but I was like, because my growth spurt matches up with the summer, it's like the hardest thing to do. So I'm just really honestly just trying to tone everything up. And so what I'm gonna end up doing now, I have it in my notes as well. I'm gonna have a daily schedule for myself. And because I don't know how sporadic my schedule will be, I'm gonna try to upload a podcast every day I can. So if I have downtime after my chemistry, I'll do it. And then like that's how my daily checklist I just typed up. It goes chemistry, which I had just finished. But by the time of this recording, I had already finished it. I had just finished it, so I didn't record. Then record, edit, upload this. By the time you will be watching this, I will be boxing because my mom is not home to take me to the gym. And then when she gets home, or if I go really early in the morning, that I was supposed to, but lately I've been like really, really shitty at sleeping and really, really tired to even get up. I I will I will go to the gym, and then after that I'll just work on business or anything else, or I'll record again. So I'm gonna try to do at least this. I'll try to clear this checklist daily. Um, I'm gonna really try to hold myself to it. I suggest this for everyone because I think the more we grow up, the more we have to organize a bunch of shit, especially if you want to do all these things. For me, I want to do all these things, and the reason like Steve Harvey said, the reason he did all these shows is because he had a schedule. If he didn't have a schedule, he wouldn't be able to do all the things that he does. So I think a schedule, just being able to do it the right way, and this is just a small checklist. Like I said, I had just finished my chemistry for the day. It's not hard. It's just very tedious. It's very tedious work. So I will then I will then after this box as a workout, then wait for my mom to get home to then take me to the gym because I'm now officially starting to lift weights because I have never like all this has been like natural for like all the way up until like this summer because I've started consistently. And yesterday, anyone who follows me on Snapchat or people in my Instagram group chat know that because of me lifting weights and me boxing, I've gotten consistently stronger. And yesterday, I hit the bag so hard that it fell off the entire thing. The entire bag and chain fell out of the machine. Um, and lately, what I've been doing also as well, to entertain myself as well as entertain other people who are going through tough times, is I've on my Snapchat I've been telling stories. I've been going on Omegle and recording it, and you'll meet some very, again, like I said, I have a lot of stories from Omegle, and I'll tell them on here. But I want to know, as a question, do you guys want me to upload those stories on YouTube as well, or retell them in their own separate videos, or do you prefer them on just in the podcast? Because, like I said, I could do both, but I just wanted to. I think it's a very entertaining thing to do, and it's just something that interested me. I was thinking, could it be something to do? I'll put a poll up on Instagram as well, but I was also just asking people, whoever watched this, should I? And obviously, I will be telling stories throughout the podcast, like in general. But should I also upload them on upload like stories by themselves? And if I do upload them by themselves, should I upload them on just YouTube, Instagram, or just on Instagram, or both, just like the podcast? So comment, whatever platform you watch, just comment, message me, let me know what you guys think about that. Because, like I said, it's something I'm very intrigued in doing. People have been saying to do it on TikToks, but they're not long. They're too long for TikToks. Um, So yeah, so let me know what y'all think about that, because it's something I've been looking at, and it's something that I think would be fun to do. And yeah, I think it's worth a shot. Like, because right now I've been telling stories. Like, I told stories about how I was stalked, which I before I tell that story again on here, I'll have to see if I already told it. If I didn't tell it, I'll tell it on here, because I don't think I have. And a most recent situation story, I know I haven't told on here, but I have to see if I told the first one. Because if it is, I'll tell it again. But I don't want to repeat and bore people already. So yeah, and so that's really it. And then as far as sports, I've been keeping up with all sports, and I had been horrible at fucking updating people who don't follow it as much, but I'm following it. So we're gonna go first with boxing. Oh, fucking, this, you'll be bored if you don't follow boxing. I'll try to do my best to universally explain this. So boxing, I focus more on the heavyweight division because I'm a big guy, and if I was a professional boxer, that would be where I would be boxing. Tyson Fury was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua in the biggest UK boxing event in all of history. Then Deontay Wilder, the guy he beat, and when I say beat, I mean whooped his ass for the title, because it was not a fight, it was an ass kicking. Won the court decision to win the to for a trilogy match. So now he's forced to fight Deontay a third time, which I don't. I wasn't interested, because they had a really good fight the first time and it went to a draw. That was a really good fight, like fight of the year candidate. Oh, and an all time classic. The second fight, Deontay got his ass kicked and made all these excuses, but at the end of the day, he got outboxed, outfought, and he just frontally got thrashed. And anyone, you don't even have to be a boxing expert to know that that was an ass kicking. If you look up Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2, it's on YouTube. Look up and watch the whole fight. 7 rounds of Tyson just whooping his ass. I never saw why there would be a third fight, because it's someone who watches tape of Deontay and Tyson. Like I said, Tyson just went off of all social media. He literally, like, his last, like, he just went on social media and said, "I will be off social media for 8 to 9 weeks," which, I mean, he hardly does that, because he, like, usually goes on there and he's just like, oh, he talks to the people, but he he just went off. He said, "Camp time equals serious time. I'll be offline. Everyone, please don't contact me for anything. I'll be training camp." And his team is in charge of his page, so anything uploaded will be is his team. It's not him. He's going off for 8 weeks, which means he's taking this serious. Which means he's going to probably kick his ass worse than the first. Because I look at Deontay. Deontay can't box. He was just a really big guy who, with one punch, could turn out your lights. With 42 fights, he's knocked out four. He's 41, but it's before he met Tyson Fury. And the one fight that went the distance, he rematched him and knocked him out in a round. So he consistently, except Tyson Fury, has knocked out every single person he fought. But he couldn't box. He just could throw one punch, and that was really all he relied on. And Tyson Fury can box his ass off. He's one of the best boxers ever to ever walk the face of the planet. He outboxed him and whooped his ass. Deontay is not looking at tape, and obviously, they're not going to show everything, but for the basic fundamentals of what he works on, he hasn't changed anything but his speed, which is cool, but all that meant was that you gained a lot of weight the second fight. You gained 19 pounds to try to make sure he wouldn't lay on you, because Tyson Fury is bigger than him. He's 6. Deontay first fight was like around like 212. 212, 219, if you want to say, around that 220-pound range. The first fight, Tyson Fury he's 6'9", and he's good. He's just naturally bigger. He came in at 253. Tyson Fury told him after the second fight, he said, that was your best chance to beat me. I'm gonna come at you hard. I'm gonna knock you out. So what he did is he gained weight. Deontay thought he could counteract so he wouldn't be tired, so because he wouldn't lay on him, he's gonna lean on him, he's gonna make him tired. He would gain weight. And Tyson Fury, who's used to fighting between 256 and 273, he gained up to 273. Deontay gained up to 232, but his frame isn't just built like that. So he was already slow. He's just so slow when he fought. So I guess that he shredded down to be quicker. But then again, if you're just doing the same shit, thinking it's going to work, you're going to be quicker, you're not really boxing. He's just throwing a 1-2, just 1-2, and he's thinking that's going to get him. And Tyson Fury outboxed him the first fight, even though it was a draw. He won every round. Like everybody who I don't know how it was a draw, because he won every round except the 2 rounds he got knocked down. But then the second fight, he got in his face. He mauled him. He won the court case though, so I guess it'll be a third fight, and I expect Tyson to whoop his ass. I don't expect it to be a war. If it's anything other than an ass kicking, I will be very surprised. Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, he was talking big shit. He was just like, "You're fake" and all that stupid shit. And Tyson Fury is just like, "I will fight you literally anywhere." And AJ's like, "Let's talk more action," but hasn't done shit. AJ now has to fight, which is his nickname, Anthony Joshua, the reason this fight is so big is because this unifies the heavyweight division. It means one man will hold all the titles by the end of this. The reason, and now Anthony Joshua has to fight a mandatory challenger for one of his 4 titles. And there's Alexander Usyk, I think his name is, which, I mean, Anthony should finish him, but and again, Anthony Joshua was also supposed to knock out a fat man, Andy Ruiz, and he got fucking knocked out. So, we'll see. So, and then Floyd versus Logan Paul is happening by June 6th. So, what was that? 2 days from now. Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather. I think we all know how that's going to go. So, then Jake Paul just announced that he's fighting former UFC champion Tyron Woodley, which again, Tyron Woodley should whip his ass. However, though, he has yet to fight someone who's actually known as a dedicated striker or boxer. Tyron Woodley's he's known for his knockout power because he developed it. He came in as a D1 wrestler. He's another wrestler. Tyron Woodley can knock him out. He can absolutely beat him. Absolutely beat him. So, and I really hope he does. I really hope he fucking does. But he's not fighting on who actually is known for boxing. He's not fighting on like Conor, because Conor would never fucking fight him. But I wouldn't want to see that fight because Conor would whoop his ass. He's not fighting someone like Conor. He's not fighting. Even if you just want to stick to MMA, cool. You haven't fought anybody striker. You haven't fought a Jorge Masvidal, a Nate Diaz, a Conor McGregor, a Max Holloway. Max Holloway would have a fucking field day and just whoop his ass on a whole nother plane of existence because he's just that good. Calvin Kattar. He hasn't fought anyone who's dedicated to boxing. He's fighting wrestlers in a boxing match. He isn't fighting anyone like that. And though Tyron should wipe the floor with him, if he did beat him, I'm like, congratulations, you beat another wrestler. Good job. Like, fight a real boxer. Fight a boxer. Because you fought, the only fight that he's legitimately won, I'll say, was in him versus Gibb. That was his first professional fight because he fought Deji. Deji, on talent, was kicking his ass. He didn't train. Had he had trained, he'd whoop his ass. But he had heart. He stuck it through it. Cool. But Deji was whooping his ass. In a 1-2 round fight, Deji was going to knock him out. If he had KSI's cardio, he would have knocked him the fuck out. That simple. But he toughed it out. And then Gibb, we all were telling him to fight Gibb. We all told him, and then he starched him. So, fair play. That round, I'll give it to him. Even though he's a YouTuber, that first one I'll get to him. You fought a basketball player. Great, man. You really showed us with that fucking basketball player who's 5'6", and you're 6'1". Well, no, he's 5'9", but even still, he's 6'1", and you have 30 plus pounds on him. Okay, cool. Then you fought a wrestler who had a hip replacement literally a year before. And he wasn't even like Tyron Woodley where he developed striking. He was literally a full-on wrestler. Just a full-on wrestler. All he did was hold down. The reason he was undefeated because he out-wrestled everybody. He did not outstrike anyone. Beat him in 1 round. Who the fuck have you fought? So, like I said, Tyron should beat him. Especially if Tyron, who's just announced he's going to try to be training with Floyd Mayweather. If he's training with Floyd, he'll whoop him. He'll beat him, hands down. But yeah, no, Jake is still making the public think that he's a fighter. I mean, he is kind of a fighter, but he's an actual boxer. He's not, because at the end of the day, he hasn't fought an actual fighter. Ben Askren is a wrestler. He's a mixed martial artist, but he was a wrestler. He wrestled everybody to death. Tyron Woodley is a first true mixed martial artist who he could fight. And if he's training with Floyd Mayweather, that's because Floyd offered it and Tyron accepted it. If they do that, he doesn't stand a chance. Because Tyron is going to blitz. Because Tyron has a bad habit in all of his fights to start off slow. If he comes out the gate and doesn't let him blitz him, he is gonna whoop him to a whole nother planet. And Jake has a fragile nose and a fragile chin, so you hit him flush. Even Ben Askren hit him with a flush overhand, stunned him, and Ben doesn't. So Tyron, who has knockout one-punch power, dynamite in both hands. One punch would clip his jaw clean, would fucking send him. So, that should be it. NBA, a lot of this is a lot more people, so now we're going to hear the NBA. The NBA playoffs are happening right now as we speak. The Lakers, defending champions, got whooped by Chris Paul and Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns in 6. They were blown up by 30 in Game 5, and they were down 29 by half this game and lost. So, we'll be guaranteed a new champion. I mean, I'm a Warriors fan. They keep debating, saying, who should win MVP? Come on. You won't give it to him. Won't give it to one person. The one person who should get it, hands down, is Steph Curry. Hands down. Steph Curry. He won the scoring title in the league, being triple teamed, double teamed every game. and still averaged 32 points, which is the highest in the league. There's no other. There's no other. And this team wasn't meant to be the playoffs, and got in the play-in tournament. He almost beat the Lakers, and he almost beat the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't there's no debate. Like Jokic, I guess, because Jokic is on a winning team. He just beat them. Cool. He's phenomenal. He deserves it as well. Embiid's injured right now, so I guess we can really judge it off like the previous games before he got injured. But Jokic is playing better. Curry, for the short time he played better than both of them. So I don't. There's no debate. I don't think personally you could debate it. They'll be like, "Oh, I might give my vote to Jokic." I'm like, I think Curry wins it. Curry doesn't win it. He deserved it. 100%. He deserved it the most. So I hope they give it to him because I believe he deserves it the most. I pray that they give it to him because I want to see one more. Because this was an MVP season for him. Like I need this. I think I need to see him win MVP one more time in his career. So, because again, if they're debating already based off this season, is he the greatest point guard to ever play this game? That should tell you volumes in itself that MVP should go to him because they're not debating if Embiid or Jokic are the greatest center of all time. They're not even close to that conversation. So, I think that's it. I think that's really just I think that's really just the that's all that matters at that point. Like that should tell you in itself the argument of who should be it. LeBron losing in the first round just proves he's not better than Jordan because you lost to a team that again wasn't supposed to make the playoffs, but they did really well because they're under good coaching and great leadership. Cool. You still had you still had players like no one on the Suns can compete with LeBron because it's LeBron. And while LeBron showed up for the most part, at the same time they're like, why would you blame LeBron for it? I'm like, because you're a leader, and if you're supposed to be the greatest of all time, your GOAT discussion versus Jordan, or is he better than Jordan? At the end of the day, it comes down to this game. Jordan would not lose to this team like that. To this team, to this Suns team, you put that Bulls team, that 96, 97 Bulls, whatever, they're not losing like that. Especially if they're down 3-2, Jordan is going to take every single point. I'm gonna get your bum ass out my way. I'm gonna take this myself. He's gonna do what Devin Booker did, because Devin Booker dropped 47. He had 22 in the first quarter. Y'all niggas were down 33 to like 12 in the first for 12 minutes of the game. There's literally like that. Jordan would have did shit like that forced a game 7. LeBron, I guess. Let me see what the hell did LeBron have? I gotta look NBA games today because I mean he's out of the playoffs. So we're also gonna have the first NBA Finals with no Steph Curry and LeBron James in since 2010. That's a crazy thing. So let's see what he had. Yeah, Devin Booker had 47. Let me look at the LeBron. LeBron had 29, 7, and 9. Yeah, 30 points. Which, again, he's going to give you his 30. I'm not worried about that. He's going to give you his 30. But they needed the Cavalier LeBron James, who dropped 51 points in the NBA Finals. They needed Miami LeBron. They needed that LeBron to show up. So the fact that he didn't really show up, and because we already knew his teammates weren't going to show up like that, to this team just showed you like there's so many levels to it that Jordan wouldn't. I don't think Jordan could do that. Jordan wouldn't lose like that. I don't think he would. So I think this is taxed by this just shows more evidence of why LeBron isn't the greatest of all time. Clearly, I never thought he was the greatest. Jordan's like I don't think even Jordan's the greatest of all time, but in comparison to Jordan, he's not better than Michael Jordan. He's not. He's not better than Michael. He's not better than Michael Jordan. So yeah, that's where that argument died off. That argument died off last night. So the teams that are left in the playoffs, right now are well, we have one more game tonight for the first round, and it's the Dallas Mavericks versus the uh the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers. That's the final game, and Mavericks are up 3-2. The Clippers need to force a game seven to survive, and the Mavericks, they win this game tonight, they close out the series. So what the matchups are looking like will be the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Nets, which the Nets are the favorite to win the championship because they have three All Stars on their team. So they're the favored. But again, they're also going against Giannis, who is a two-time MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year. The Hawks, which I'm very surprised that they've done well. I expected them to win the first. I expected them to win the first series because it was against the New York Knicks. So they won. Yeah, Trae Young has been sensational. So I'm very impressed. I'm very glad that that Atlanta's actually doing something now. But I don't think they'll get past Philly, especially if Embiid comes. If Embiid comes back, they won't. If Embiid's not there, they have a slim chance. Then it's Nuggets versus Suns. Yeah, that should be that should be interesting. And then the winner of Mavericks Clippers will face the Jazz in the West. That'll be the Utah Jazz versus either the Mavericks. So basically, Donovan Mitchell versus Luka Doncic, or Donovan Mitchell versus and Rudy Gobert versus Paul George and Chris Paul, and not Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Excuse me. So yeah, these playoffs have been very entertaining. Uh, we'll see what happens. I'll definitely keep updated with all that shit because it's I unfortunately don't have enough the right cable to watch it. I don't have cable, so I don't have the right ESPN provider to watch it. But I watch the highlights and I keep up with the news on Instagram and all that stuff. So, like I said, we'll see. To all my soccer fans, I'm getting more into or you call it football, actual football, like not American football, but football, international, regular. I've been keeping up with the news about the Super League. That Super League shit. My opinion about it, the Super League doesn't make any sense because it's like, okay, you want another separate league where it's like basically what the Super League was that they wanted a whole nother league, like a whole nother one. They already have the Euro League and all that shit, but they wanted the Super League, which is all these clubs, all these teams want to do this, compete for this one title. But if you compete in that league, you can't compete for anything else. You can't win the World Cup. You can't compete for. You can't do none of that. You can only compete for that league. And people were like, that's the end of our beloved sport because if you're just limiting it to that, I don't think that's a smart idea. And a lot of people are boycotting, and a lot of teams they said if you join, you will be fine, and we will not. You're on your own basically when it comes to all that shit. You're on your own. So that was a crazy thing that happened, and I saw that and I was like, that's fucking stupid. They should, that's what they want to do, and the whole thing is like, well, we want to pay the players and them more. But I was just like, also, I'm just like, dog, it's sports going good. I don't think you want to ruin a lot of these fan bases like Arsenal, Man United, PSG. You know, you don't want to ruin all that history and ruining it for those future people who want to play for clubs. And then like Juventus, like we could really see Ronaldo and Messi in Barcelona, and Messi and Ronaldo in Juventus never play in a World Cup ever again, or never win another award because their club wants to join the Super League, which means they can only compete for that. But again, it's just like it doesn't fucking mean anything. There's no history, and I get the idea because the thing is that our beloved sport should continue to move forward and and should move forward and progress with the world, and for our sport to survive, it must adapt and change and all that shit. And I get all that, but you're also like spitting in the face of all the history of it. And while some people support it, a lot of people are against it. I personally don't think it's the greatest idea. I'm not as outraged because I'm like, I don't follow soccer that or football, excuse me, as much as the rest of the world does. I'm starting to get into it more because I'm trying to understand the rules more. Um, but well, like I said, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But let's see anything else. Also, finally, I actually have business stuff to show people because I'm not gonna start trying to advertise this more on my podcast. I'll be able to present you stuff we actually have. Right. Sorry, I just got back from getting the stuff. So we have this is all my company. This is all Balance. We had just these are like officially unreleased. I haven't announced them yet, but by the time of this, I will try to announce them by the end of this day. But we have tank tops, white and black, but we recently came up with white. We also have for hoodies, which I have hoodies here. The ones in stock right now are white and black, but we also have pink, green, and any other color. So just order a color, and we can make it, and I can get it to you. I will leave a link to the website below in the description on YouTube and Instagram. I will do that from now on. This is a T-shirt, this black T-shirt, but it's packaged up. This is okay. Yeah, there you go. So it's all packaged up. It'll all be sent through, and then the black hoodie. I'm trying to get out more tank tops and T-shirts since it's summer. But like I said, I will leave a link to the website. You can check it out. Order whatever. We also make beanies. We make we make tank tops, beanies, hoodies, t-shirts, kids and adult sizes. So this is what they all look like. And yeah, if you want to buy and support, also leave a comment if I should make merch for the podcast. Should I make merch specifically for it and be like the Smorgasbord Podcast? Um, you know, should I make it where it's like hoodies, t-shirts, and all that stuff for this podcast? Should I do that? And also for the regular business, what other things should I make? Because I have a couple ideas. I just have to get enough money to make it, and while we're making money steadily, I can. I'll still try to promote it every episode, and I'll still try to make enough money to where um, I can make more because it's very expensive to make all this shit. Like I said, running a business is not easy, and I still have a lot of work to do, and I haven't even really begun as much as I've done with a lot of work. And my mom has helped me tremendously. Um, I we still have a lot of work to do. So that was really. I think that's everything. So I will try to be back tomorrow. By the time of this recording, I'll be back. I'm gonna stay true to my tech checklist. Like I said, um, a couple of questions. Do you think I asked? Do you think I should upload stories on separately to my Instagram and YouTube? Should I make them their own video? And if you say yes, should I do them on my Instagram only, my um excuse me, my my YouTube only, or both the same I do the podcast? And should I make merch specifically for the podcast? And um what other ideas do you think I should do for in terms of merchandise for my regular business as well as for the podcast? Um, I'm willing to hear all sides, all parts of it. It's really just I want to hear what people think. So yeah, this has been episode 46. I will do my best to be more consistent. It's summer. I will. This is the best chances that we got to push out content for y'all. So I will do my best. I can't promise anything, but I will try. I promise you that I've tried and all that shit. So stay safe. Love y'all. Bye bye.